Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And my special guest today is Lynette Melnyk. Lynette is an artist, educator, and creative empowerment coach who helps entrepreneurs and creatives go from self doubt to self trust so they can unlock their full potential and feel energized in their everyday lives. And Lynette, thank you so much. I am super excited to be here with you today, and I know we're going to have a wonderful conversation. But before we get into all the questions I have for you, can you tell the good audience just a tiny bit more about you and how you help people?
Oh, thank you, Destiny. I am just thrilled to be here and thank you for having me. A little bit more about me is that this is probably career number 3.2, but throughout that, I have all this experience. And what I'm at the stage right now is I love to help people reconnect with what lights them up from the inside because it ripples into every part of their life and affects so much more. We have magic within us that needs to be brought out.
Well, I am excited about our conversation today because I think that this is a message that all of us really do need to hear. And I have gone to your website. I've kind of dug into all of your information. I've gone to some of your YouTube videos, and I really want to talk about some of the things that you communicate to people. One of the things you talk about is the lie of visibility equals value as an artist. And tell us a little bit more about what does that mean for us as a creator?
That visibility equals value because we live in this world obsessed with performance and perfection. And they say, if no one sees it, doesn't matter. Or if it doesn't go viral, it's not valuable. And that narrative we keep hearing sounds like logic in today's world, and we start to believe it, but it's a lie because visibility, it's not the same thing as value. And I'll give you some examples. Just because something isn't seen, it doesn't mean it's lacking meaning. Think about the roots of a tree. They do most of their essential work underground, completely invisible to us. And the same is true for so many of our creative processes. The energy we release through our art when we're making it, it doesn't just vanish because there's no one there to watch it. It moves us, it heals us, and it teaches us, and it's real. And I think this lie about visibility equals value keeps a lot of people from making anything at all, which really is quite sad, isn't it? Because they think if no one's going to see it, why bother? But that learned belief is what keeps so many ideas from your soul from ever coming to life. And the truth is, and I love this idea, every act of art is a quiet revolution. Every act of creating is a quiet revolution. You are pushing back against the noise and against that pressure to produce and to perform and to be like everybody else. And you're choosing to be present instead, to be real. And that's a revolution. And that's the energy that ripples out into the world. And you may never know how much your creativity affects others. It changes how you feel, how you think, how you're living your life, and how you're connecting with others. And that's how the ripples start.
I love what you said that, and I may be not getting it entirely right, but the act of art or the creativity, what you're doing in as part of that process creates that revolution. And I was thinking about, okay, that's why I love to see behind the scenes of an artist, not necessarily when they have the finished piece, but the whole process they took to get there.
Right.
Love that. Another thing that you talk about is the art cave season. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you mean by that? And why is it so important in the creation process?
Of course. And probably nobody has heard of this because I think I'm the only one that calls it that to myself. But it's something that I've lived through more than once, and I'm sure that most creatives have as well, even though I don't have a true name for it. It's the season when you're creating, but nobody is seeing it. Maybe you're experimenting, trying new things, you're failing. Maybe you're crying at the canvas and you're discouraged. I know I've been there many times. It's a quiet time and it can feel like you're doing it all for nothing. But here's what I've learned. This season, it isn't failure, if that's what you're thinking. It's gestation and things are growing in the dark. And like tree roots, you're finding your voice and strengthening your creative muscles, even if it doesn't feel like it. And one thing that's really important is when you're going through this process, to almost track what you're doing, because you may not see the small little steps that you're doing until a ways down the road, you look back at your journey and realize, oh my gosh, look at what I used to do then and look at where I am now. So it's a good idea to keep track of your work so you can look back. And some of that most transformational work happens in this unseen cave and the work you create in it. It's wonderful because it teaches you to trust yourself while you're in there alone, not the algorithms and not the applause. And so that's what the beauty of it is.
I love that. So track what you're doing so you can kind of watch your progress. I think we make a lot of progress in everything that we're doing. I know I've gone back and looked at some of the projects that I did even a year ago, and I brought them out, looked at them a few weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, I got a lot better. But I didn't even realize how much better I had gotten until I went back and looked at what I had done before. So I love what you're talking about there and how you're kinda growing in the dark, right? Uh,
Exactly.
I know that you also talk about how art heals the maker first. I love that, and I wanna delve into this a little bit more with you. Can you walk us through what do you mean when you say that?
This is a cornerstone of everything I believe because art is a way of processing life. It gives form to emotions that have no words. And when I say art, it can be creativity in any form. The art heals the maker first is you are allowed to make art for you. And in fact, sometimes that's the only way to survive. There was one time I remember that happened to me. I had this ache inside of me, and it wasn't a physical ache. It was such a powerful feeling that I couldn't ignore it. And I realized that something in me needed to express myself. I needed to do something. And that's when I say that art heals the maker first. The creative process isn't just about what comes out of it, it's about what gets healed within you through the act of making. It can be a painting, a funny poem, a song, a beautiful flower garden, or delicious baking. It's not about the product, it's about your presence. And your art becomes a mirror to whatever is inside of you. It's a way to access your emotions that you didn't even know were inside of you. Like when this powerful feeling was inside of me and I just had to get it out. And even if no one sees the work, it still mattered because it brought you back to yourself, which is really so important. In this world that constantly tells us to disconnect or to be distracted or to rush or to ignore our inner lives, that kind of reconnection to ourselves is so important.
And I think the key message that you mentioned there was that you are allowed to make art just for you. And I
Absolutely.
love that. The other thing I liked as you were going through that is art is more than just doing like a watercolor painting. You mentioned you can create a poem, you can do some delicious baking. I mean, all of that can be considered art. So, really, anything that we want to kind of dip our toes into and try as a hobby or go through that creative process, really, the world is our oyster.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah, I love that. So, Lynette, before we wrap it up here, we tell everybody where they can connect with you. What is one message that you want everyone who is listening to this today take away from our conversation?
Yeah. What I want to say is that your art matters, your creativity matters, even in the silence, even in your doubt, even in the messy times, the weird times that not sure if this is any good moments that you have. Remember that your creativity, it's not a luxury, it's a lifeline. So don't wait for the audience. Don't wait for permission to do it. Go out and make the thing. Let it be imperfect and let it be for you. Love it as it is and also love you as you are because you're already powerful. Your work, it already matters and it's part of something bigger, even if you can't see it yet. And the amazing thing is, it starts with you. You start the ripples. You have the power. And how magical is that?
Such a powerful message. Creativity is the lifeline. It's our lifeline. And we gain so much as we go through this process and we grow and we heal. And there's so much more that we can be doing. Lynette, thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to let people know where they can find you. And you don't need to worry about spelling everything out because I'm going to put the links in the show notes. And you also have a free gift for them too.
I do. And they can find me on it. I'm actually really easy to find if you know my name. So my website is lynettemelnyk.com. My YouTube, where I share all sorts of fun art demos and some life wisdom. It's Lynette Melnyk. My Instagram is Lynette Melnyk Art, and Facebook and LinkedIn is Lynette Melnyk. So it's pretty darn easy to find me. I've created a free workshop called Spark Your Abstract Voice. And really, it can be for anybody who's creating because it's the idea of just getting into how to get ideas flowing and get out of a rut. That can be found on my website as well.
I will make sure that the link for that free workshop is also in the show notes. And Lynette, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of your wonderful knowledge with us. Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free Hobby School online learning summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to hobbyschool.com and that hobby school with school without an H in it. Talk soon.
Yep, dang.